Good morning and welcome to ITV with our usual morning broadcast that is very, very educated. This morning we shall dwell on the factor of ASUU. We are not talking about strike now. Thank God 8 months of strike has come and gone. Parents have a little bit of a reprieve that, thank God our kids are back in school. But ASUU has not rested yet. The federal government is making them offers for which they are saying, no, we are not going to dance to that. That is the element of half pay. If you remember, when we started out at first, the federal government was saying, no work, no pay. After a lot of deliberations, they went back to the classroom, either by virtue of the court orders or by virtue of being humane enough to do so. Now they're back in school and they are saying, okay, we want our money. And federal government is maybe coming midway to say, okay, if you want to get the money, we'll give you our pay. But as a Nigerian, we have a right to deliberate about it. We have a right to think along. Which one is the right way? Which one is the wrong way? I pray there is no wrong aspect to this. And for us to go in depth into this, we have with us in the studio a friend of the house, Sam Eke. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir.
And also my co-anchor, Uncle Charity Tanko.
Morning, viewers.
Like you heard from my opening, we've moved one step positive towards ASUU going back to school. But now we've started another step. The other day we were together, we all prayed that we pray ASUU should not venture to go on strike again and make our kids lose a whole session. But it's just little bits like this that creates another round of rancor. What do you think? I want you to think like ASUU, because at times people say we don't think along their own lines, we think along our own lines. Do you think ASUU has a point here?
Well, education is the key to sustainable growth and development of any nation.
That is a given.
ASUU, as workers, have the right to demand for improvement of environment and working environment and good pay. No negotiation of that. That is paramount. So
work, you pay me.
You pay, but at the same time, the government also should understand that it's not an egocentric situation. Now it's about the citizens. It's about the future of this nation. It's about the growth of Nigeria in general. Yes, the government has registered on other
two other
unions of the universities, and rumors around is that they are going to pay those other unions their 8-month salaries.
Let's take
arrears.
it is like it's
a rumor. That's what, it's a rumor. It's not fact yet. At the same time, they should understand that these lecturers are professionals in all forms. You push them to the wall. People who would suffer is not the lecturers. It's the students. It's the nation. Today, as we speak, a full section, 1 year of academic activity is gone because it's 9 months. Is gone. So universities, public universities now are taking in 2021-2022 students intake and 2022-2023 at the same time.
I doubt if they can do that.
No, they are. They just have to. Because the people who wrote JAM last year and the ones who wrote this year, everybody is seeking for admission. Now, whether the government thinks it's right or wrong to pay them their arrears, salary arrears or not, because they didn't work for it, but because they are professionals, because it's a disputed issue, it is not a case of 2022. This matter started in 2009 agreement, it comes on and on and on. If the federal government has kept to his own part of the bargain, ASU will not be on strike. So in this case, the federal government should go back and pay them their salaries. Pay them off. Make sure that every year there's a certain budget to develop these schools. Have you gone to our public universities? Go to the hostels, you share tiers. A room that should be meant for 2 or 3 or 4 persons is taking 12 persons. The restrooms is not where you go to. So these are we should take education serious. The university system, you give kudos to the students who go to public universities and pass their exams.
Why do you say that?
Condition of learning, it's not conducive.
Let me take you back a little bit, because you were saying something. You ran an inference to 2009 when their demand was about 1.3 trillion. And over the years, they've been having negotiations till this 2022 February when we went into this bad one. Before they went back this time around, there was a 50 billion in the budgeted for. There was a 200 million that was promised. There was another 400 billion that was promised. So in total, it's a 650 billion. Let us look at that as being a good negotiation from 1.3 to 650 billion, barring inflation. At least inflation is not involved. If inflation were involved, it would have been maybe 2 trillion. But at that, when the government agreed that, okay, in this year's 2023 budget, there is 50 billion for them. When they were in court, and the court told them to go back to school, it was an order from court. Really, it wasn't because they agreed. It was an order from the court. Go back to school. The caveat was there because the federal government insisted on no work, no pay.
No pay, yeah.
So I was saying, if you were ASU and you went back to school based on that no work, no pay, and now you insisted on your salary because you need the salaries to make moves, and the government is saying, well, okay, let's go 50-50.
The government is not saying 50-50. The government have just paid October salary, pay as you go. Days you came to work are the days you were being paid. So it's not even talking about 50-50 here. There's no negotiation of the 8th month. And they are humans. They have families. These persons will react. Whether we like it or not, government is continuous.
Of course.
The Minister of Labor and the Minister of Education at this point shouldn't play politics with our educational system.
Okay, now the federal government said one of the reasons for paying these half salaries is that the federal government says it does not want to encourage what it calls moral hazard. It doesn't want to encourage other people to think that, okay, we can just go home and stay at home for 1 year, 2 years, and we get back, and we come back and we get our money.
Can I say
Don't you think the federal government has...
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
During COVID-19, the federal government, through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs also, spent a lot on school feeding program of 200 billion while kids were in school.
Now, where kids were at home?
Where kids were at home.
When kids were at home.
And ASU demands were not as much as that. If you budget extra 200 billion or 300 billion annually into our educational system, tertiary educational system, especially the universities, I am telling you, lecturers will not have reasons to be at home.
Are you just thinking in terms of federal government bring money?
Yes.
What about the element of IGR?
No, we will come there. The federal government infrastructure in our universities are not the way it should be.
It will always be work in progress.
But now in this case, ASU is not even talking about the infrastructure for now.
No, they
why they went into an emergency meeting yesterday was
their pay. They went on strike because there are issues. And the issues have not been resolved. And the Speaker of the Federation, Gbajabiamila, has told Nigerians that these things would resolve them. He persuaded ASU. ASU also went back to the classrooms. There are factors that made them went back to the classrooms. Both the court cases, negotiations, the National Assembly coming in. I know that the House of Rep is making sure that 300 billion is part of their budget for 2023, and also their allowances and take home would be also be at 170 billion will be added into their salaries and so on. So the speaker is acting as someone who has the love for education in this country. So when anybody sit back and say no work, no pay, but that's why we will not encourage other unions to go on strike.
What happened to the law? It is in the Labour Act.
And, sometimes you find amicable solutions to solve issues. Today it's ASU. Tomorrow it might be medical doctors. Next tomorrow it might be. These professional bodies are not just any other kind of public service unions. And if you think you can push them, they will stay and watch, and things will go bad. We have lost 1 year, and we don't think we'll continue in this part of going back and front on issues that pertain the future of this country, which is education.
Hypothetically, what do you think? Because one of the duties of the media is to say it as it is.
Yeah.
So that the powers that be can listen to us and then take a cue from there, learn a few lessons along the line. Hypothetically, what do you think ASU should do? What do you think the federal government should do? And what should be their meeting point?
Yeah. Well, if I were the ASU president, I would go back to the drawing table, get back to the Speaker House of Rep, who has been in the middle of the issue, and see how things will be resolved. I also learned the Speaker have also made a statement that somehow the president will look into their matter and make sure that everybody goes home happily. So, for me, I would tell the ASU president to seek audience with the speaker and wait for the president reaction. Give them time and see if their salaries will not be paid.
And in the interim, do you advise them to go off the job? Or
No. They should stay in school. They should stay in school for now, so that they can gain this sympathy from Nigerians. Because the truth is, Nigerians see both the government and ASU as very unserious persons. When it comes to education, so I'll tell them, be patient, continue what you're doing, not because of your earn allowance or something, but continue what you're doing and seek further negotiation with the government and see how your salaries will be paid.
But as a Nigerian, do you see this continuous wrangling, this
yes.
strike yielding positive results?
No, strike, one war can never solve any problem. This Georgia, and we have to keep talking. We have to make both politicians and public servants understand the need to improve our educational system. Ordinarily, Nigeria should invest 26% of its budget in education.
We're just doing half as we speak. We're doing 13.
Ordinarily. So if we do that, the country will have a greater future. India has done better in education, and today India is far, far better than us. And I think we started almost at the same time.
Same level.
So we should think Nigeria, think on how to improve this country, and forget about, who gets what pride is involved. Because the issue of ASU today, I think pride is also part of it. And the part of the Minister of Labor and ASU itself. So they should come down and say, oh, these are our kids.
Okay.
They will be leaders of tomorrow too.
There was an aspect that I brought up that you said, okay, we will get to that level, which is the aspect of generating funds in-house. It is important. Listen, if you have to go back to the federal government to take money on a regular basis, there will be no end to it. Before you land, there's another school of thought that says most of the businesses that are done on campus, nobody asks them for it. There are medium and small businesses on campus. There are stores on campus. Honestly, the businesses on campus runs into millions. It is at the purview of the VC or in the place of the polytechnics. But the thing is, nobody asks them for that. You've made the money based on federal government land, government infrastructure, which you met in the schools, and at the same time, like Oliver Twist, you keep asking for more. Shouldn't we think along those lines a little bit?
Yeah.
You are saying, okay, everybody agrees. I agree to it that education should move from 13% to somewhere like 20. Even at 20, it is not enough.
Yeah.
The federal government cannot do it all. What advice do you want to give to ASU and to the universities to generate more money? I was running an inference some time ago. If you are coming into Abuja, Nasarawa State University, if you look at their fence, the fence is you would drive 4 kilometers. You will just be seeing the fence of a university. Land space is money. Land is being sold per square meter. Look at all those large expanse. What is it for? Is it for farming? Is it for property development? Is it for what? What are you using it for? Ain't they sensible enough? They are supposed to be the ones with the smartest brains because they teach our kids. Shouldn't they be doing so? I am very particular about that IGR.
Yeah.
What's your take?
My take is that, we have, let me use some universities like that of agriculture.
Yeah,
Maybe FUTA and the rest. The university is a place of research.
That's it. And research needs grants, and at the same time,
you make a lot of money out of research. Today, the running a generator in our schools takes a lot of funds.
Agreed.
Takes a lot of fun. The day-to-day running of the university, it's very high. I don't want to talk about their salaries. Running the university system, water, power, sanitation, keeping the environment clean. There are other infrastructure that comes up into the schools that people come and improve the environment in these schools free bono on their own. And I think it's just that the resources is not enough. But I still think that some universities should specialize on generating more wealth, at the same time giving back to the society the best it can.
In the students.
In the students and also the university environment. But when we talk about internally generated revenue of the universities, it's not much that can go far in our schools today, because for you to grow and give out the best, infrastructure comes first. The conducive environment will also come. I can tell you, a child is in a lecture hall of 2,000 persons or 1,000 persons, and that lecture hall does not have a public address system. It's only the guys who sit in the front that can hear. So for you to sit in the front, you come like 2-3 hours before lecture time. There's no AC in this lecture hall. Even the fans might not be working. That's where the lecturer will stand and talk.
As much as you're making a good point.
Yes. So
let me say one thing there. There are companies in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of them in operation that will come, build, operate, and transfer.
Yeah.
In terms of hostels, they are ready to build. in terms of auditoriums, they are ready to. In terms of everything, they are ready to build.
Yeah.
That is a business transaction that the universities can go into and then have a proper work plan, a business plan on ground. Why aren't they going into that? Why are you waiting everything for government? Like you rightly said, you said some of the, if you go into some conveniences, the bathrooms, the days,
Yeah.
it's abysmal. And you said the money they need is huge.
It's huge.
You don't need a huge funds to clean.
No, we know. See, the issue of sanitation, power, and conducive environment is beyond just cleaning.
You don't have to do everything.
You know,
government for something, you can ask them for those items.
if I'm a VC in a university, I would recycle waste, both solid and liquid waste.
For gas, methane,
Would have industrial farms, massive mechanized farming system around the universities that should be making money. Would have cottage industries in the school. So, but you have people who are seated as VCs and so on, who think it's just a 10-year thing, 4 years or 5, I leave the school. So a lot of them don't come in to create that impact.
Some of them are not innovative enough.
Yes, to create that impact.
So that means
there's a private university, I don't want to mention the name here, because it's a private school. When you look at the level of development, they have an industrial park, they have a very large agricultural area.
Which is high tech.
What they eat in the school is produced in the school.
That is what we are talking about.
Power is everything is innovation, creativeness.
It's like a city in itself.
It's a state of its own. Provides everything for itself. And you can see it's a private school in Nigeria. So why can't the public school do same? I know that's where you're going to.
If we don't do it fully, let us even do it.
Yes.
So
reasonable percentage.
you don't have to wait for government.
Yes. Why can't public schools do same? That's a question that we need
You are
answers.
not a VC.
Yeah, so I'm not a VC. But the truth is, those lands you see in the universities are kept for research and futuristic expansion of the school.
Which we haven't seen lately.
Yes, but that's what it should be. And some schools are expanding, while some are still the way they are. So there are improvements in some areas. There are some schools that are not doing same. Yeah.
Okay,
So
let's agree that this 26%, which is supposed to be injected into education sector, is not being injected. We have 13%. So are we now saying that this 13% cannot be utilized in such a way that Nigeria can say, okay, with 13%, we have been able to get to a certain level?
No, the 13% you see in the budget is being utilized. If you
Effectively.
is being utilized.
But it's not enough.
It's not enough. If you go to any public, federal government-owned public university, you see this back and front of the VC and members of ASU in the school. You see a lot of check and balances. You see auditing going on. You are talking about people who are intellectuals. So these monies are utilized. That's why you go, you see a lot of buildings, ETF project. You identify where the funds is coming from.
A contract board for that.
So it's just that the money is not enough.
Okay, why is it not enough? Does it mean that Nigeria, we don't have enough money?
We have not made education the priority.
Okay.
We have not prioritized education. That's just it.
Like if I told the line.
If you prioritize education the way you prioritize security vote of political office holders, we won't be where we are.
Yeah, but the thing is, like somebody said some time ago, if you want to be a politician, go and be a politician. And if you want to be a teacher, go ahead and be a teacher. It's a matter of vocation which you have chosen. And I believe, I'm still of the school of thought that education is being a teacher is a passion. It's more of a passion, but now they say it's a vocation, it's a money. It should be my own money spinner. If you believe it's going to be a money spinner for you as a person, the element of education will drop.
No,
because you'll be looking at nothing but at your salary at the end of the month. You don't care what happens. When you were going to school, I would like to run it. When you were going to school, your teacher knows the name of everybody. He knows your level of intellect. There are some in the class he will not give homework to. There are some he will double their homework.
That was in the past.
No, that was when teaching was teaching, and that is what we are talking about, that teaching should still be teaching. Are we having, before ASU even kills us, or ask for whatever they want, are they delivering? Okay, hypothetically, okay, the money is there. With the kids we have seen, if you don't want to teach, you don't want to teach. But now that you've taught them, the kids we are churning out now, are they good enough?
The truth is, we are not getting the best out of. We are not getting the best out of the system, educational system, especially the tertiary education. We are not getting the best. When you have disruption of the calendars here and there, and you have a lot of a bit of corruption in the system and so on, we are not getting the best. That's why every organization that is employing anybody would have to retrain the person for 3, 4, 5 months to get into their company. That's if they are employable. So
you remember that where they said graduates are not employable.
So, but if the federal government today has said, okay, everybody reading education should, their data should be taken, and they will pay them a certain fee to encourage people to go into the educational system, to be teachers and so on. That is a good step in the right direction, which they are doing for basic. That's what they're doing for the basic educational system, which is primary, secondary, and so on. But they should also move forward and then think of how to solve the issue of tertiary education once and for all. The common man on the street don't see the problem of ASU and federal government as the way they themselves see it. They see it as if some persons own private universities and they want to kill the public ones so that everybody will go into the private. No, I don't. But that's the perception.
You said there's no iota of truth.
No, that's the perception out there, and it's a bad one. The public is seeing it today as if, oh, a lot of people around the corridors of power owns or have certain interest in private universities.
So their kids school abroad.
And they will have to kill this one so that their schools will make more money.
That's not tenable, really.
So what they ought to do is change that mindset. They should change it. These kids are at home. Some have resumed. And I learned one of the universities, I think University of Jos, have told the lecturers
to stay at home.
To stay at home.
Yes.
So eventually, we are moving towards the same
where we started from.
So the minister should come and bring everybody together. Let's sort these things out, and we move forward from there.
Now, I would like to ask you a question. Okay, if you are to be a minister, let's say the Minister of Labor tomorrow, because this issue clearly is between ASU and Minister of Labor. ASU, if you are to be a minister, let's just say 2023, Samike is appointed Minister of Labor, what are the critical steps you would take to cure this strike action syndrome?
First of all, I will seek genuine reconciliation between ASU and government. I'll get the Minister of Finance, Education, and myself. Let's solve this problem and get the National Assembly leadership on one table so that Is it possible? Can we meet these demands? 100%. If no, can we meet it at 50%? If no, can we meet it at 40%? If yes, please, let's get ASUU. These are the reasons why we can't meet it at so percent. These are the reasons why we can meet it at so percent. So we come to a point whereby ASUU will see sincerity. ASUU will see sincerity in what we do. There won't be suspicion. It's bringing everybody on the table, and this is the reasons why we can't meet it. This is the reason why we can meet it, and this is where we'll go from here. And you will see the strike will end. But when you create suspicion and you think, oh, I am your employer, you have to do what I say, there will be this rancor. But when you bring them they are humans now. They would understand, and you won't find all this happening.
Thank you very much, and to you, our listeners out there. The last question Charity threw at him was, if you were the Minister of Labor and Employment, what will you do? One factor that is beautiful about his response is he will look at how much he has on hand and negotiate along those lines. There is no way you will negotiate with somebody who is seeing the facts and figures on ground, and he will not at least dance to your tune a little bit and ask for, when are you going to be able to do something higher? And honestly, like I normally say, and as we are positive thinkers, Nigeria and the government and our nation is a continual work in progress. And we shall succeed, we shall survive. Our kids shall get educated, because there is one thing we have on hand. We are one of the smartest people on earth.
Yeah.
And we will continue to do that. On this note, I would like to say thank you to our guest, Sam AK.
Thank you.
And
thank you,
whenever
viewers.
we need your presence, we will surely call you back. Thanks very much. And to your viewers, don't go away. Stay with us. The program continues shortly.